Worldwide, online, 24/7.
Welcome. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
have this audio, and I guess the audio is now on for those of you that are listening to us. Sorry about that. We are sorry because there was audio issue, not from the Star Radio, from the other broadcast that we were doing, and I'm sure now that we have audio. So for those of you that are listening to us on other platform, we'd like to apologize for that. About a few seconds audio lost there, but I guess we now have audio now back as well. Thank you very much. Yes, there was another building collapse today. I already saw that as well, but I guess now we have the audio, so we shouldn't have any problem. Now, it is called Niger Voices. I'm sure some of you that have been watching it, thank you very much, Paddy Joko. Thank you for joining us as well. And those of you that have joined from different part of the globe as well. The audio should be good now, so we shouldn't have any problem with the audio. One thing is, what is the crime against innocent Nigerians that were just doing the normal thing average, citizens from around the world would do, protesting against, injustice, protesting against crime, against humanity, demanding a better opportunity, demanding a better life, but all that was not happening in Nigeria, and that is why we're going to be reviewing that tonight. But are we really under pressure? It is now exactly 19 minutes past 6 p.m. from here in London, where we are broadcasting from. Africa, Africa, Africa. I say good evening as we're settling in. Good evening, Adeboye. Good evening to you and welcome. You say nowhere to go than to go to our nation, Yoruba nation now. That is where I believe as well. You might not agree with me, and I'm saying this because that is just my view, not the view of Star Radio UK. That is the late Raskimono. That is there under pressure. Before we go into the broadcast, it's coming up to 20 minutes past. We're just going to be going into the program in just about a few minutes as people are settling in. If you're going up, tune in, increase the volume so that we can take you home with all the news as well with the latest that is trending, the Lagos Judiciary panel that came out some few days ago. I say good evening to you, Olaleye Omoba. Good evening to you, Duckman Valley. You might want to check your device. Good evening, Ahmed Mamadu. Good evening to those of you that are watching us from Yoruba land. Good evening for those of you that are watching us from Nigeria, from Sokoto to Kaduna, from Oyo to Ogun, from Kwara to Kogi, from Lagos to Osun, from Osun to Ekiti, from Ekiti to Ondo State. I say good evening to those of you in the southeast. Good evening to those of you in the middle belt. Welcome. It is called Niger Voices. And this program has been coming on air since the last 4 years as we continue to strive to make sure that we bring you all the current news happening in Nigeria. Good evening all the way from Italy. Good evening to you all the way from Italy. Good evening and welcome for joining. Settle down and let's tell you everything you need to know about the judicial panel that came out some few days ago. Oh, yes. We're going to hear from those that were involved. DJ Switch, she's currently now in exile in Nigeria because last year her life was in danger. Her full name as a professional known as DJ is Obianuju Katrina Ude. She's a songwriter, a DJ, and a musician who emerged as the winner of the first edition of the Geo Glow X Factor in 2013. She's only 29 years old. She was almost killed by the Nigerian government because she was using her Instagram to tell the world about a crime being committed, now known as the massacre. Good evening to those of you watching us all the way from different parts of the globe. Good evening to you, Razak. Good evening to you, Salami Wale. Good evening to those of you that are watching us from America, from Canada, and those watching all the way in Israel, Russia. We have all our fans from different parts of the globe. Good evening to those of you in Kuwait, Baghdad. Good evening to those of you in Libya, in Ivory Coast, in Sierra Leone, in Libya, and likewise in Benin Republic. Chief Sunday IGBOHO is coming up to almost 4 months that he's been held in Benin Republic. What is going to happen to the next court case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in January? Is the lawyer going to wait till January, or they're going to have to tell the justice that is currently saying maybe she just have to leave because she's not doing the job? Maybe she's a bit partial. We're going to be reviewing all that tonight with just about a few seconds before we go into the program tonight. When DJ Switch was live during that NSAS massacre, a lot of people said she was just lying. There was no dead body, there was no evidence. Where did she find those killed? And now we know people were killed during the NSAS situation in Nigeria last year. This is what she said some few weeks ago when she was on one of the programs somewhere in Oslo, where she's currently taking refuge. Let's hear a little bit from her.
As the coronavirus ravaged the globe, back home in Nigeria, we were more afraid of another type of virus, SARS. On the 3rd of October, a video surfaced online where SARS officers shot a young man and fled with his Lexus SUV. We were outraged. But this was followed by the gunning down of an up-and-coming Nigerian musician. I'm a musician. Could have been me. At this point, the hashtag #EndSARS was trending all over the world. And thanks to Nigeria's biggest celebrities and artists, influencers who said, enough is enough, it is time we speak up. And so by the 8th of October, the streets of Nigeria were filled with young men and women protesting police brutality, and I was one of them. But it is the 20th of October, 2020, that has brought me here today. On that very horrible day, the Nigerian army, sanctioned by the Nigerian government, stormed the Lekki toll gate. And this is a major roadway in Lagos State, by the way. No warning, no dialogue. Soldiers opened fire on unarmed, peaceful protesters with live ammunition. We cried, we braced, and we started to sing the national anthem, just with hopes that they recognize we're not their enemy. It made no difference. As I laid on the floor, I remember a young man, he just jumped on top of my body and he was screaming, "Cover her, cover her." I couldn't really make sense of what the whole thing was about. He was struck by a bullet on his lower back. I genuinely believe he saved my life, and I don't even know who.
And that is the voice there of, what we know now as DJ Switch. She's currently hiding far away from Nigeria. Now, the question now is, what literally led to the massacre in Lekki Tollgate on the 20th of October 2020? All this is now in the report that I'm sure some of you have been looking at. It's about 309 pages. So it's going to take a bit of time for you to sit down and go through every single part of it. But I'm going to try as much as possible tonight to look into the particular section that might be of interest to you. And you might want to take note of these. You might want to start to read from page 290 to the end of the document. It's about 309 pages. So what you want to do is to streamline it for you. you can just go straight to page 290 up to 309, and that will give you every details that you need to know. From that particular 290, I'm going to be picking it up just from number 9, or let's even go a little bit up to 289. Was the police present at the Lekki toll gate on the 20th of October 2020 with a question mark? And then we're going to read a little bit all the way down, and then we're going to start asking the question. So what happened next? What will be the outcome of this, review? Who is going to pay the price? Is it the governor of Lagos State? Is it the federal government? I've not heard much from, the information minister, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. I would like to know what he's saying compared to what he was saying last year when this incident occurred in Nigeria. Again, I would like to see what is the response of those that were criticizing people like the DJ Sweet and Reno and the rest of so many Nigerians that were determined that people were killed. Now we know that the dead bodies were all put in different mortuaries in different parts of Lagos. Not just that alone, by the early hours of the 21st of October 2020, the crime scene was already cleaned up. The crime scene that contained evidence was already on a very smooth cleaning, because somebody, somewhere, must have told them that that is a crime scene and you need to get it out quickly before the journalists, the independent inquiries might want to come down and see whether there were blood stains on the floor, whether there were, cartridges that were leftovers. All these was already cleaned by those working on behalf of the Lagos State government or the Lagos State governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. So the question now is the governor enough to even sit on this panel in terms of, giving it to the next committee to review it? Because I remember when the governor came on air to speak about the NSAS situation then, what he said is different from what we know right now. What the governor said then, like I said, is completely different from what we know now. The governor said nobody died. Was the governor misled then? Was he misled of information in his hand, or was he part of those that gave the order, for the military to kind of, disperse those giving trouble according to them, rather than trying to review and dialogue with some of these protesters that has been very peaceful until woodlums was allowed to penetrate into them, and these were woodlums using the vehicle belonging to this Lagos State governor or the Lagos State government. Because we saw that during the protest in Alausa, with evidence base of people coming up from the vehicle that belongs to the Lagos State government, and they were having all kind of materials to use to destabilize and disorganize people that were having a peaceful protest. So for those of you that are watching us tonight, I would like you to help me out. Who should be held responsible for the massacre? How many people must be held responsible? Even, the national chairman of APC, as at the time, came out to say, why should I be there? You shouldn't be there. That is a toll gate. We are making money from there. Why are you destabilizing it? People can't get to work. They were not actually looking at, the actual problem. Rather, they were running away from the problems. Lekki massacre. What do we know? Let's hear what Babajide Sanwo-Olu, at one of the engagements he had then with those protesters at one of the ground of the protesting ground. Remember, the governor also visited, the Lekki toll gate. Let's see what he has to say there.
Got power, a dollar, amongst a little list of people that we need to, part of your agenda is we need to get to the family and we need to compensate the family. Am I right? Good. So that we can do and we can do because we're compiling the names and we're trying to get how to reach out to them. One of the things that we are happy about an hour ago was that Mr. President would say and address the ban on SARS.
I mean, there's a lot of noise at the background because as at that time when this was going on, it was addressing the protesters, but they were also engaging, with their echo and their voices. But as at that time, Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, for those of you that might not know a little bit about Nigeria had 36 states. It was a country that was created by Great Britain in 1914. We have a constitution presently that is a fraudulent constitution, and that constitution is having a lot of effect to people having their own police because we have 68 exclusive lists on that constitution. That is a different case entirely. But Governor Sanwo-Olu last year was even assuring the protester that the President Muhammadu Buhari was going to address the issue. So what went wrong? Were they having too much trouble engaging the protesters? Who gave the order? Good evening, Salami Muhyiddin. Good evening, Ariyo Adetola. Rain Ike says the governor said that nobody died. That is exactly what he said. The governor came out to say nobody died during the NSAS. So how come now, in this panel review that we have, let's hear what the national chairman of the APC, Asiwaju Tinubu, has to say after the visit to the governor last year.
We'd like to know why you are here, and there is this rumor that you are in London, you are in Paris. What do you do?
Remember, as at the time of the incident, Tinubu was flying away from Nigeria. He was somewhere in Paris. They found him in London. He was moving. He wasn't stable. Who gave the order? But this is what Tinubu said last year after he returned back to Nigeria. He visited the governor. And when journalists were asking him the question, let's listen attentively to get what he said then as well.
Break your question.
First of all, why are
Break
you here?
it. Why am I here?
Number one.
To commensurate with the governor and sympathize with those victims through him. Seek his permission to visit some of those victims if they are still there in the hospital. Since he made the announcement to assume the responsibility for payment and others, how can we do and what can we do to help him, to give the succor to those who are hospitalized in the first place, and equally to ask him pointedly, did he order the attack?
I want you to take note of that. Tinubu was saying to the journalists last year that he came to commiserate with the governor, to see how they can look after those that are in the hospital. But I'm not hearing anything about the people that were killed as at that time. He's also saying that maybe, let's hear a little bit. It is still Star Radio UK. It is called Niger Voices. 37 minutes past 6 p.m. Nigeria, you're 1 hour ahead of us. This was the voice of Tinubu, the national chairman of the APC. And he also said, did the governor give the order? If the governor did not give the order, let me ask this to those of you that are listening to us, from different parts of the globe. If the governor did not give the order for the military to go into Lekki Toll Gate on the 20th with hundreds of Nigerians gathering, who gave the order? Was it from the presidency, or was it from the chief of defense? The chief of defense staff, the chief of defense, the former Buratai, that is now the current ambassador to Benin Republic. Who gave the order with a question mark? Let us hear a little bit more from what Asiwaju Tinubu, the national chairman of the APC, said last year.
Or if he didn't order the attack, who ordered the attack?
If the governor of Lagos State, where this crime, massacre has now occurred, if he did not give the order, who gave the order? That is the question Nigerians would like to know. Who gave the order? Can we find those answers at the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry on the restitution for victims of SARS related abuses and other matters? Who gave the order? That is the question we would like to ask, the federal government, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the information minister of Nigeria, and the House of Representatives, the senators representing Lagos State. Good evening to you, TT Yoruba YouTube channel. Who gave the order? Who gave the order for the massacre that took place at the Lekki Toll Gate? Once again, a very good evening and welcome to those of you that are watching us from different parts of the globe. Who gave the order? Now, I want us to hear more, because somebody like Tinubu has access to the presidency, has access to the governors, and also as the national party leader, he must also have an inside knowledge of who gave the order. He's probably playing to the gallery of the media or the journalists last year when questions were thrown to him. Let's hear more from him. Again, it's coming up to 20 minutes to 7 p.m. from London. And I say, good evening. It is Starr Radio UK. It's Niger Voices. Every Wednesday, you can join me here every Wednesday between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. where we review everything that you need to know when it comes to Nigeria.
Was it to his knowledge that people were attacked? That's all.
Was it to the knowledge of the governor of Lagos State last year that Nigerians having a peaceful protest, singing the national anthem, having a big white flag of green, white, green, but the military overlooked all that, and now hundreds of them were killed. More bodies are still in the mortuary, not been claimed, but has been tagged as bodies from the SARS saga. It is still Starr Radio UK, Niger Voices, every Wednesday.
I need that from him. Going forward now, I mean, you've seen him, you've commiserated with him. I'm sure he will start giving you a mild picture, mental picture of the level of wanton destruction of public and private property and cases of casualty and fatality if they were. What's the next step going forward for you, for all well-meaning people of Lagos who would want to support? Because I heard the governor say something like, this is really going to be tough. In a year, we have had to reduce our budget.
Okay, I'm going to leave that other question now. I'm going to go back to the main, Remy Ike says the government is responsible for the Lekki massacre. They were killing at Odigbo, which also we've not even find out, the panel. We hope the panel there will also give us, the outcome of what actually happened. You're quite right. I remember Odigbo as well by Governor Wike. So it was not only in Lekki that the massacre took place. There was so many massacres across Nigeria. And for those of you that might be asking, what happened at Odigbo? And, what is he talking about? Yes, there were killings that also occur, which is also known as the Obigbo. I hope I pronounced very well. Obigbo massacre. And what we know was horrific, bloodshed, massive killings of, again, innocent Nigerians in the southeast. This is a moving story of how Nigerian army inflated war-grade assault on Oyigbo community in Rivers State, killing many residents and injuring many others. It is another case of gross human rights violation. All this was happening last year, and like I said, justice has not yet been served. Like most bride-to-be, one person known as Queen Inwazo, a 30-year-old, was beside herself with anticipation. A wedding to her fiancé, Monday Bako, was scheduled for next year, February, which would have been this year, and the preparation for the event, was truncated by bullets from rampaging troops of the Nigerian army who were from Nigerian army, which was happening again. That was shot dead on Thursday, October 22, as she and Mr. Bako were trying to lock a latter shot. So not just the Lekki massacre, we're also going to be discussing the Oyigbo, but because we have the panel review of what took place in the Lekki massacre, we will focus tonight, and we hope those panel in Rivers State will work quickly, because this panel in Lagos State took about 9 months. They were given the first 6 months, they added another 3 months. So in 9 months, we now know what happened. So I'm now going to go straight into the conversation. Like I said, page 289 is where you might want to start the conversation if you like to read through. It's about 309. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try as much as possible to read a little bit from that. Maybe not everything, but we'll try as much as possible to read a lot. Thank you very much once again, to those of you that are watching us and those of you that are listening to us on all the different platforms from across the globe this evening. It is Niger Voices every Wednesday, where we continue, the conversation tonight. So, was the police present at the Lekki toll gate on the 20th of October 2020? ACP Oludotun Odubono, who represented the Commissioner for Police of Lagos State and is the second in command operations of the Lagos State Police Command, stated that the SARS and other tactical units were disbanded on 11th of October 2020. He stated that there were no police officers at the Lekki toll gate on the 20th and the 21st of October 2020. Number B, that from the 14th of October 2020, the Commissioner of Police withdrew all police officers from the toll gate, and there was nothing to warrant the use of live rounds on the 20th or the 21st of October 2020 by any police officer. Similarly, the DPO of Maroko Division Police Station, CSP Raji Ganiu, stated that no policeman was dispatched to Lekki toll gate from the 14th of October 2020. That to his knowledge, as a DPO, the 20th of October 2020 was not an extraordinary day. He also stated that on the 20th of October at around 8:30 p.m., people came to the station throwing bottles and attempting to burn down the station. That with the assistance of the community, they spoke to them and they left. That he was not armed, but his men were. He was not aware if anything happened at the Lekki toll gate till he saw it on the social media the next day. I mean, you imagine, a DPO said he doesn't even know if anything happened in Lekki toll gate until he was looking at it on social media. What kind of police officer is that? We're talking about a crime being committed in your jurisdiction, and you're saying that you didn't even know about it until you're watching it on the social media the next day, like somebody that is outside Nigeria. So that tells you, the kind of situation that we have, especially, with the crime being committed on a daily basis. Again, he was not aware if anything happened at the Lekki toll gate till he saw it on the social media the next day. That he remained at his station from the 14th of October 2020 and even on the 20th of October 2020, he received no report of any incident at the Lekki toll gate. That is meant to be the DPO that is meant to have, that is representing the particular area of the crime scene. I mean, imagine, for those of you that are watching us from around the globe, let me bring it back to UK. Imagine a crime being committed in Westminster, and the police division that is meant to be representing Westminster is now saying that I'm just sitting in my office, the crime is being committed, I saw it on the social media, I didn't even bother to go there and review it, I didn't even bother to dispatch men to see why people are killing people, because according to them last year, we were told by the Nigerian military that they were probably hoodlums putting on the Nigerian uniform. And these are crimes committed on a daily basis. So let's go back again to the conversation. If you're still joining us, it is called Naija Voices on Starr Radio UK. Thank you very much, Aziz, for your message there on the social media, those of you that are watching us. And I say thank you to those of you that have joined us from different parts of the globe. Let's go to number C. End SARS. Several End SARS protesters, including Miss Sarah Ibrahim and Onilewo legend, testified of their direct one-on-one encounter with the police officers at the Lekki toll gate between the night of 20th of October 2020 and the morning hours of 24th of October. So you can see that there was a particular person that says, look, we engaged the police on the 20th. So for the DPO of Morocco to come out and now say he was not aware, that tells you some of the lies that have been put together to try to cover up the massacre that took place in Lekki toll gate. And like I said, we also know about Oyigbo in Rivers State, where more crime was also committed by the Nigerian military and the federal government of Nigeria. Let's go to number D. In Sarah Ibrahim's documentary video evidence, Exhibit A, label AHTJ2821, from about the 14th to the 38th seconds, there is evidence that police officers were at the toll gate on the 20th to the 21st of October. It was also clear from the voices that the officers were preventing the protesters who were in confrontation with from recording. Now, you've heard about the DPO of Morocco that is representing the jurisdiction of that particular area in Lekki toll gate, saying that we were not there, I was just in my office. And I didn't know about the crime until what I saw on the social media the next day. So that means the officer was not engaged with what was happening in his in the vicinity until the following day. We now know all this is lies according to the panel report that we're discussing this evening. It's coming up to 9 minutes to 7 p.m. 17th of November 2021. I'm still Olayomi Koiki, your host for Naija Voices every Wednesday on Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It seems Nigeria is truly, really under a serious pressure. How are we going to solve all this? A lot of people are now saying enough is enough. The total disintegration of Nigeria is the only way forward. Is that what you agree with? Or you think that we can manage Nigeria for another 2023 general election? Or you are one of those that prefer to say self-determination is not a crime and we can look into that? Let's go back to Raskimono. There was a lot of pressure in the Lekki toll gate massacre and likewise the Oyigbo that took place in Rivers State. So let's quickly continue because of time constraint. Let's go to number E. According to the Premium Times interview presented in Exhibit A, tender by Sarah Ibrahim under 00SA2155, show persons who were interviewed and gave copious account that the police shot in the fashion at the Lekki toll gate between the 20th and the 21st of October 2020. Those interviewed Sarah Ibrahim also personally pointed out that the DPO of Maroko Division Police Station personally shot someone. Wow. I say wow. You must read this panel report for you to understand what actually happened during the Lekki Tollgate massacre. It's coming up to 7 minutes past. Nigeria is really under pressure. So the DPO that just came to give testimony during the inquiry said, I was in my office, but now evidence says he was also one that shot some of those protesters live inside the Lekki massacre. Now let's come back again because of time. Number F. All the above clearly contradict the testimony of both representatives of the Nigerian police force. From above, the panel find that the police was at the Lekki Tollgate on the 20th and the 21st of October 2020, and that it is clear that the Nigerian police were aware of gunshots were being fired at the tollgate based upon the testimony of witness and evidence before the panel. A very good evening to you, Khadijat Abiola. Thank you very much for joining us. Good evening to you, Abele Construction Limited. Good evening to you as well. Khadija says, why are this government lying? And this old man that called Lai Muhammad. Wow. Many injured as another building collapsed today in Lagos. Also, we will continue to look at what is going to be the outcome of the Ikoyi building collapse. Under pressure is Nigeria. Some are crying. Good evening to you, Oyetope Adesanya. Boko Haram gave the order. That's probably maybe what he believes, that Boko Haram gave the order. You might want to expatiate who is Boko Haram so that we can know a little bit much further. Once again, thank you very much to my producer and the sound engineer that are working tirelessly back in the studio. I say good evening to them as well, and good evening to you. Tomorrow is the Property Hour on Star Radio UK. Make sure you tune in. But for now, let's go back to the discussion tonight as we continue to review Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry on the restitution for victims of SARS related abuses and other matters. I've been reading from page 289, where we are now currently at just number F. All the above clearly contradict the testimony of both the representatives of the Nigerian police force. From the above, the panel finds that the police was at the Lekki Tollgate on the 20th and the 21st of October 2020, and it is clear that the Nigerian police were aware of the gunshots were being fired at the tollgate based upon the testimony of witness and evidence before the panel. So the question now is, why is that DPO telling lies? Who should be resigning? Those of you that are watching us tonight, who should resign? Who should be fired? Who should be prosecuted for the crime that have been committed? Who should be persecuted? DJ Creative says, hashtag Yoruba Nation now is the only solution. Remy Ike says, Nigerian governors are evil. They don't have a shame. So is somebody going to resign? Are we going to see people being fired, demoted, under pressure? The next part is, did the police shoot? Is the question mark. I would like you to sit down as we're driving you home. For those of you that are going home, I say increase the volume, concentrate on the road. It's coming up to Christmas very soon, but we're going to be telling you everything as well that you need to know. Benin Republic is going to be having another peaceful rally for Chief Sunday IGBOHO on the 27th of March this month. Manchester rally is coming up. For those of you that are living in that axis in Wigan, Lancaster, Liverpool, you want to make sure that you make it down to the mega rally in Manchester. It was a good outturn of the rally in Ibadan last week Saturday, and I hope those rally will be replicated to the other states. As in the next 3 days from now, which is 72 hours, Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday IGBOHO, will be spending 4 months in Benin Republic. Also, we'll be reviewing the case of the leader of the indigenous people of IPOP, the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that is still being held by the Nigerian government. Not that he was arrested, he was renditioned and kidnapped from Kenya. All that we'll be reviewing in the second segment of this broadcast tonight. My name is Olami Koiki. It's called Niger Voices. Under Pressure is Nigeria. Nigeria is really under pressure because of time constraint. Let's go straight to number 9. This is now on page 290 of the document that I'm reading from, which has given us the evidence that massacre took place. Police were there, the army were there, Nigerians were shot by them, and some of the bodies have never been found as we speak right now. Several SARS protesters testified that the police shot at them, perpetual and brutalized them, Onileowo legend, or threatened them, Sarah Ibrahim, in addition to the video clips of eyewitness stating that they saw police shot dead people at or in around the toll gate was tender in Onileowo legend's video evidence. His voice in the background clearly states, police are shooting us and he may die that night. In the investigative report by the Premium Times earlier referenced, which was submitted by Ms. Sarah Ibrahim. Several residents around the Lekki toll gate and in the shanties gave evidence that the police shot and killed several people. Also, that the police follow up with the killing of protesters after the soldiers had departed. So for those of you that are listening to us this evening, imagine you've just been, massacred, killings by the Nigerian military. And yes, it's the Nigerian military because the evidence is now out and we can now say officially that the Nigerian military, who gave the order is what we don't know. Was it the presidency? Was it Alhaji Lai Mohammed? Was it the governor of Lagos State? Was it the National Party chairman of APC? Was it the PDP? Who actually gave the order to the killings of innocent Nigerians? But imagine that the Nigerian soldiers that have get into the Lekki toll gate, open live round fire as if they were in Sambisa forest trying to kill terrorists, killed innocent Nigerians, dragged the bodies away and took the bodies away, and then they thought it was over until the police arrived in their own convoy and started killing them as well. That the police follow up with the killing of the protesters after the soldiers had departed, shooting directly. Imagine living in the United Kingdom and then you are in a protest in Trafalgar Square and the police, after the military or the British soldiers have killed you, and then the Metropolitan Police came out and started firing you. That is exactly what happened. For those of you that might not understand, what actually happened on the night of 20th of October. This was actually what happened, and this is why a lot of people are now saying, enough is enough. It is time to ask whether we want to continue with one Nigeria or we go back to who we are before 1914, when Britain merged us together. And that is why people are demanding for Biafra state, people are demanding Biafra nation, people are demanding for Middle Belt nation, and people are demanding for Yoruba nation, because that is the only way out, because there's just too much crime. When we say Nigeria is a crime scene, this is exactly what a crime scene looks like. You will not even believe that the next day, the whole environment of Lekki toll gate, a crime scene that should have been secured, sealed properly for proper thorough investigation, was cleaned up as if they were expecting a high-profile person to visit Lekki toll gate, and they were cleaning the floor so that no death will be available in the most of the night before, that people were killed and the evidence should have been gathered. Somebody gave the order for the cleanup of the Lekki toll gate the next day as well. Remni Mike said there is no Buhari in Nigeria. Nigeria has no president. Thank you very much for those of you that are watching as well, and those of you that are still putting up your comment. Put up your comment there, and we will read those comments out as well. Good evening to you, Oluremi Ogabi. Yoruba Nation now, no retreat, no surrender. Good evening to you. Good evening to those of you that are watching us from different parts of Nigeria, and those of you that are watching us from outside the country as well. My name is Olamiko Ike, and this program comes on air every Wednesday between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. So we have about less than another an hour because the time now is 3 minutes past. So we're still reviewing the Lekki panel, outcome, and then we can go straight to that the police follow up with the killing of the protesters after the soldiers had departed, shooting directly at the fleeing protesters into the shanties and the lagoon. Imagine people that were running away trying to get into the shanties, and some were going straight into the lagoon, and they kept on shooting at them. At the Lekki Phase 1 foreshore, close to Lekki toll gate, floating corpse and some shot directly close to Sarah Ibrahim. So there were bodies flowing in the lagoon because the police were also running after those that were running away, and they kept on shooting at them. This was what was happening on the 20th of October in Nigeria, which we now know as the Lekki toll gate massacre. We also know about the IGBOHO in Rivers State, and we hope the panels will give us the outcome so that we can know exactly what happened. Let's go to number C. On the arms used by the police, the CSP Raji Ganu stated under cross-examination that about 30 station guards had arms that day for the purpose of protecting the station, that there was no record of arms fired. You will know that that is a lie. Nigerian police are liars. You cannot believe anything coming out from these CSP, the CP, and even all those representing them as their representatives in Nigeria. So if anybody's telling you that the police never, even on a normal day, 5 people were killed in Alimosho local government area last week. A police officer literally took out a knife and stabbed a citizen, and then they called for reinforcement, and 4 more people died last week. On a daily basis, the injustice is still being committed. You would thought that since the Lekki massacre, the police would have been retrained. And we also know that last year, during the inquiries where there was so much petition, one petition led to the conversation inside the parliament here in UK, which we now know as the NSAS, UK parliament had a debate last year on that particular situation, and then we know that even the United Kingdom were also training, giving support to the SARS last year, and a lot of Nigerians were shocked. A lot of Nigerians were shocked. Now we would like to know the follow-up to that discussion that had over 100,000 Nigerians from around the world petition the UK government to look into the NSAS. And I can tell you, during that conversation, there was a lot that was reviewed. There was a lot that we end up finding out, because we now knew that the United Kingdom government was also supplying some kind of materials and training facility to the same SARS that were brutalizing millions of Nigerians back home. So last year, UK Parliament deliberated on the killing of the NSAS protesters in Lekki. The United Kingdom Parliament has commenced deliberation on the petition seeking to sanction the federal government for human rights abuses. And I hope they will be doing that now. Now that we have this evidence, I hope the United Kingdom will be putting sanction on the Nigerian government for killing of innocent Nigerians by not allowing some of them to come into the UK and freezing some of the assets. This is what we expect the UK government and the Prime Minister Boris Johnson to be doing as quickly as possible, because killings of Nigerians in a massacre should not be tolerated in the 21st century. That is a human rights abuse. That is genocide, and the UK government must now do everything based on what they discussed during that debate in the parliament after the petition reached about 100,000 last year. According to the report then in last year, the United Kingdom Parliament had confirmed it will consider a petition sent to it concerning human rights abuse. It's not just human rights abuse, it was a massacre. Massacre in the glaring eyes of the world. And we expect the Secretary of State that will be traveling to Nigeria tomorrow to meet with the president to start putting sanction on Nigerian government for tolerating killings of innocent Nigerians on the 20th of October last year. This is what we expect from our international community. The petition, which is on UK government and parliament website, accused the Nigerian government and the police that are telling lies. The Nigerian army telling lies, the governor telling lies, the Minister of Information telling lies. Everybody was telling lies that nothing happened, nobody died, because they didn't tell us that they've already had a cleanup of Lekki Tollgate last year. Good evening to you, Fatai Dabiri. And we saw the same incident. Nigerians being killed. We will discuss about Itunu. Itunu was requesting the support of Abike Dabiri, and yet she was left to die in Ivory Coast after 5 months of engagement between her and the Nigerian government. And the question is, are we truly Nigerians? For those of you that say we are Nigerians. And if you are truly Nigerians, who is meant to take care of your welfare, your security, to make sure that your life is secure? Those that are meant to do so are the same that have been sent out to kill you. We are really under pressure. It was during that parliamentary conversation that we even heard from one of the members of parliament that said Yakubu Gowon cut away half of the Central Bank of Nigeria. I'm sure some of you remember that, He told us that Nigeria, Yakubu Gowon cut away half of the the Nigerian Central Bank. And the question this evening to those of you that are watching us is, who should be held responsible for the killings of innocent Nigerians? Last year, the UK Parliament debated the Nigerian killings of innocent Nigerians that we now know as a massacre in November 23rd, 2020. And what we know now has given us more to ask the UK Parliament to now do the needful. And what is the needful? To make sure that everybody that is involved in this massacre, every single person involved in this massacre must now pay the price. Every single person. Every single person that is involved in the killings of the innocent Nigerians must definitely, are we going to see sanction? Is the UK government now going to sanction Nigerian government? So I'm going to go back again to the Nigerian sanction, which was part of the conversation, according to what we have here, Teresa Villa. I beg to move that this House has considered e-petition 554150 relating to Nigeria and the sanctions regime. It is a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, Mr. Gray. I thank the 220,000 people who signed the petition when I last checked it this morning, especially the 853 who are my constituents in Chipping Barnet. This petition has been prompted by the disturbing events in Nigeria over the recent weeks. This was when all this was happening last year. There have been widespread protests regarding the activities of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigerian police known as SARS. That unit has deeply controversial reputation, and the hashtag EndSARS started to appear prominently on the social media as far back as 2017. Reports of violent human rights abuses by SARS date back several years. But this latest protest following circulation of a shocking video in the early October, which many believe shows a man being killed by SARS officers. On the 11th of October, President Muhammadu Buhari announced plans to disband the unit. However, such promises have been made in the past, yet SARS has simply continued to operate. The question now is the British government going to send some, is the British government going to do the needful? Let's hear what Kate Osamo, the leader, the member of parliament for Edmonton. It is a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, Mr. Gray. I thank the right honorable member of Chipping, Barnett, Teresa Villa, for her passionate opening speech. I also thank Silas Ojo for creating the petition, which has now more than 220,000 signatures, including from almost 2,000 from our own constituent in Edmonton. I am sure that I am not the only member to have been inundated with messages from constituents. So you see, those of us outside Nigeria, especially those of us in the UK, we have our members of parliament. You want the Yoruba nation, start sending them emails, asking them the question to intervene. You want the crime to stop in Nigeria from the Biafra side. Why Nnamdi Kanu, a British citizen, is still being held in Abuja? Start sending that email to your members of parliament. This was what triggered this conversation that you are listening to, or which I'm reading from now. After 220,000 Nigerians petitioned for the EndSARS that took place. So if you want the same thing, create that petition, galvanize over 100,000, and they will have a sitting on it in the parliament. It's coming up to 15 minutes past, and Nigeria is truly under pressure. Sheikh Imam Nazar, Yoruba Nation not going back. Thank you very much for watching. Olubenga says Buhari is dead. Okay. Amazing. I'm sure a lot of you must have seen the video of an Englishman came out on a conversation right in front of number 10 Downing Street to tell us that the president of Nigeria is dead. Even the president has sometimes said, well, he knows he's dead because people say he's dead. But and this conversation has popped up again. It needs to be looked into. It's still Star Radio UK, 16 minutes past 7 p.m. Where's the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari? She's the mother with hundreds of innocent Nigerians that were killed. By now, I expect her to have released a statement as a mother herself. Jambele Wilfred Oluwadari says, give us referendum now to save lives. Let's see more comment that is coming through. Waris Jinadu, Yoruba Nation now, key to freedom of bread. Crumbs, Yoruba Nation is the key to freedom. Pastor Mo, so sad. Ademola Atonda, good evening, Mr. Koiki. God will take us to our land, Yoruba Nation. Good evening to you. Waris Jinadu, location 419, ballot or bullet is catch 22. Why is Benin Republic? So let's come now to, so you can read more yourself on that report. We will have it on our website where you can be able to read every bit of that panel report. Now let's come to Chief Sunday Igboho. Why is it still being held in Benin Republic? What do we know so far? Why is it taking so long for Benin Republic to review, determine whatever offense Nigerian government has come up with, or whatever offense Benin Republic is saying Chief Sunday Igboho has committed inside their country while he was on a transit out of Nigeria, because Nigerian government was after his life. What do we know? So many Nigerians or the Yorubas are asking the question, why is Chief Sunday Igboho 3 days from now? Chief Sunday Igboho will be 4 months in the custody of the Benin Republic. Wari says, free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from location 419, extraordinary rendition and extrajudiciary killing. Free Sunday Igboho from the refugee transit status from Benin Republic. Good evening to you, Sunday Okwara. Good evening to those of you that are also on the Star Radio UK. According to more messages coming, Buhari died in February 2017 in London, buried in Saudi Arabia. An English politician confirmed that to us. That is coming from one of the comments. It is now worth looking into this situation where more evidence seems to be coming out on the president of the Nigeria. Could that be imposter that we have as president? What is your take on that? If you have any information that you'd like to share with us, you can send it to us on our WhatsApp or on our email. But let's come back to the conversation. Ahmed, only one better way is Yoruba nation. Jambele Wilfred says, free Sunday Igboho, free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, free Omoyele Sowore. Sowore is still being held right inside Abuja. Let's go back. The federal government came up to say, we can negotiate on the political terms with Chief Sunday Igboho and also Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. There's been a lot of reaction to that. So many people were asking, why should we want to have a political conversation with the federal government on Chief Sunday Igboho? What is your take on that? Should Chief Sunday Igboho and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu start having conversation with the federal government of Nigeria? And what will be the terms and conditions of that? And who will lead that? We know that the AGF says there might be a political solution to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. There has been a lot of reaction to that. 3 days from today, 72 hours, Chief Sunday Igboho will be spending 4 months for not committing any crime and offense, even in Nigeria. 2 people were killed in his house on the 1st of July 2021. The dead bodies, just as the dead bodies of Lekki massacre, has not yet been returned. We saw the live broadcast from Lady K on the 1st of July, just as DJ Switch was broadcasting, just as they invaded the home of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in 2017 and 17 people were killed, including his dog. Fast forward 4 years down the line, 1st of July, animals, cats were killed inside the house of Chief Sunday Igboho. 2 innocent bodies have not yet been recovered by their loved ones, still being held by the federal government of Nigeria that sent machineries to assassinate and kill him. He was able to escape, and that escape led him to a transit to Benin Republic on his way to Germany with his wife. Do you agree that there must be now a political solution to solve the saga between Chief Sunday Igboho and the federal government, or Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the federal government and Omoyele Sowore and everyone? 2023. Let's look at Star Radio UK clock check on the election that so many Nigerians are now saying is very, very shaky. 450 days, 4 hours, 37 minutes, 3 seconds is when the next general election of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be coming up. What is your take for 2023? Who are the stakeholders holding Chief Sunday Igboho and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu back? Who are those? Once again, I say thank you very much to my producer, Archie and Frank, for making sure that we have Naija Voices every Wednesday live to those of you that are watching us. Who is responsible? Who should we hold responsible for the killings? Who should we hold responsible? Let's hear from you. Chief Sunday Igboho will be spending 4 months for offense he has not committed. And we still have a government that says maybe we can find a lasting solution to this issue. What is your take on it? Do you think that we should negotiate now with the federal government? Osira Ken, the Nigerian government are very desperate in all forms. There is something hidden about it. Why is Chief Sunday Igboho being kept against his will? What must we do? The legal representatives, both of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Chief Sunday Igboho, have done everything. But it seems some innocent person like Chief Sunday Igboho and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are being kept against their will. Who must we hold responsible? Who must we hold responsible? Who must we hold responsible? You can comment and let's hear from you. Rafiat says, this is unjustifiable for the 3 of the freedom fighters to be detained for any reason. It is because there is no president ruling the country. The people ruling Nigeria are the peoples of the Northerners. Let's read more comments. This is still Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Remy says, Nigerian government still acetate youth who came out in remembrance of the NSAS in Lagos 1 year later. A police officer sprayed a substance in the eyes of one of the youth. I saw that as well. Who should be held responsible? Who is going to be held responsible? Are you with me? Once again, a very good evening if you've just joined us. My question is, if Chief Sunday Igboho is still being held there for not committing a crime, what should be the next line of action for Benin Republic? We know that on the 27th, let me get that date properly. We know that on the, also, where is Aisha Buhari? Are you listening to what is happening at Oyigbo Market, where traders have been locked for refusing to pay 5 million by the daughter of Tinubu, the national chairman of APC? The market has now been shut down for almost 2 weeks. Goods have been damaged. Why is all this happening? A mega rally has been put together on the 26th of November at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in front of the Embassy of the Republic of Benin in France, in Paris. You'd like to find out more? Plus +3376 9688 875. Is Buratai behind Chief Sunday Igboho as the person representing Nigeria in Benin Republic? Is it the politicians from the southwest that is holding Chief Sunday Igboho? Who is holding Chief Sunday Igboho from not leaving Benin Republic? Why is Nnamdi Kanu case how it is without any proper justice? Let's hear from you. It is still Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, and this program comes on air every Wednesday between 6 p.m. and likewise 8 p.m. every Wednesday, and it's been going on for the last 4 years. Rafia says they are looking for crisis in their country. According to Wale, Yoruba leaders that are working with Nigerian government. Who is the reason why Chief Sunday Igboho is still being held in Benin Republic? Do you have an answer to that? We are just about 30 minutes before the end of this evening program. So we are now looking at why is the case between the federal government of Nigeria and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Chief Sunday Igboho, is it going to be resolved amicably? Who should be held responsible? These are all questions begging for answer. A peaceful mega rally has been put together again in Paris on the 26th of this month to support Chief Sunday Igboho. Thank you very much, those of you that are still joining us from Ghana, from Kenya, from South Africa. Good evening, Adeniyi. What will be the solution? Is it going to be a political solution? Why? Let's go straight into what the AGF, Ilana Modua, came out quickly to say, no, we will not align with that. Kanu's lawyer opposed federal government application for time of extension. Kanu negotiation with federal government on political solution. Is that the way out? Would the Biafra agree to that? Why is the government now trying to negotiate with with Sunday Igboho and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Could it be because the election is getting closer? What do we know? What can you tell us? 450 days from today is the 2023 general election. Why federal government should leave Sunday Igboho alone? YCE. The Yoruba Council of Elders, in a press statement, urged the federal government to drop all charges against the Yoruba Nation agitator Chief Sunday Adeyemo, fondly called Sunday Igboho. According to the news, this group addressing newsmen in their secretariat in Ibadan, in Oyo State, the group also frowned at the state of infrastructure in the southwest, accusing the federal government of marginalizing the region. Are we being marginalized? Jamila Yusuf says, I'm tired of this country. Oshira, our demand not negotiable. We want our country back. What is your take on this conversation? Let's hear from you. Let's read some of your comments. Maze Gold, good evening and welcome. Olugbenga Ajayi says, imagine Sanwo-Olu ordered the Lekki toll gate and again being handed over the report. Who is fooling who? Idowu Jose Yoruba Nation now. Sunday Okwara said, good evening to you as well. Good evening if you're watching us from any part of the globe. It is called Niger Voices. It's coming every Wednesday, and you can check everything you need to know about Star Radio UK. If you like an advert, you'd like to know more, you have a program that is running, and you'd like to have it air on Star Radio UK, you can get in touch with myself, or you can get in touch with my producer. You can find out everything you need to know by going on our website. It is called starradiouk.com. The star is double I. And there you can find out some of our programs. I remember when Omoyele Sowore came to the studio I remember having Fela Durotoye. Nigerians did not vote them in. They decided to vote APC. And now we know what APC is doing to Nigerians. Last year, APC decided to unleash massacre, havoc on the lives of Nigerians. Waris Jinadu said, attention, President Patrick Talon of Benin Republic released Sunday Igboho from non-political refugee status, Yoruba Nation now, liberation and jurisdiction, non-political affiliated. Once again, a very good evening. 450 days. Do you think that 2023 general election will solve the problem in Nigeria? The Afenifere says no. Restructure Nigeria before 2023 or no election. Speaking on Igboho's detention in Benin Republic, the YCE, which is the Yoruba Council of Elders at their secretariat in Ibadan in Oyo State, Justice Ademola Bakare, retired, said Yoruba Council of Elders has nothing against Igboho's agitation for Yoruba nation. It is his fundamental human right. If the federal feels Igboho has done anything wrong, he's supposed to be taken to the court for trial. It is unjust to keep him in custody. Why is the federal government with any other person holding Igboho in Benin Republic? The federal government is wrong, and it is improper to run this country this way. Are we now back to military era? A very good evening to you all. Are we back to the military era, or is it just the situation of things? Let's go back to what Gate petition, the U.S. over alleged state-sponsored terrorism in Nigeria, also tackles federal government on Igboho and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Gives 2 notice to United States Secretary of State to act, threatening to apply for writ of mandamus if no action upon expiration. Wow. It seems more bodies around the world are now demanding that the United States of America must intervene. Let's read this off. A United States-based group, Global Advocate for Terrorism Eradication, GATE, on Friday last week, petitioned the office of the United States Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken. He's going to be in Nigeria tomorrow for a 2-day visit, demanding that the United States government should designate some Nigerian government officials as sponsor of terrorism, alleging that from all available index, what is happening in Nigeria is a state-sponsored terrorism. Do you agree with that? Gates says its core objectives are to stop the provision of material support, funding, and the prosecutory protection of terrorists by the state actor. So what that means is Nigerian government is the one supporting and the state sponsor of terrorism in Nigeria. In a statement by his principal advocate, Robert Berry, in a 26-page petition, alleged that the Nigerian government was allegedly sponsoring terrorism by carrying out terrorist activities, including training, fundraising, financing, recruitment of terrorists, and terrorist activities. The organization says the Nigerian government officials have deployed the instrumentality of power and are using the veil of sovereignty in knowingly consenting and with malicious intent and allowing and promoting the use of Nigeria as a breeding ground and recruiting nursery for international terrorism activities, contrary to Foreign Relations Authorization Act fiscal year 1988-1989 as amended. Is Nigerian government using Nigerian ground to grow another terrorism activities? Is Nigeria now the next Syria or the next Afghanistan? Now that Afghanistan has been led by the Western world, is the next ground Nigeria, allowing the jihadis to make their way down? It is Niger Voices. You can follow us on Twitter, where you can also tweet and follow us. You can also follow us on the YouTube, and you can follow us on our website. It's called Starr Radio UK. Your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London is exactly 1938 17th of November 2021. My name is Olayemi Koiki. Once again, a very good evening. What is happening to Nigeria? Are you worried? Are you concerned? With everything happening in Nigeria, can the 2023 general election hold? Is the constitution going to be amended before 2023? Afenifere says amend the constitution or no election. There's a lot of pressure, and we're going to be getting the next track ready for us. My name is Olayemi Koiki. Who is responsible for Chief Sunday Igboho being held in Benin Republic? Who should we hold responsible? Who should we hold responsible? The next track is in the local language, and I'm sure some of you will understand it. For those of you that are not Yoruba speaking, we will see if we can try to translate it. It's called Ikilo. It's called warning. That's the meaning. A very good evening to you. Our mother, Ebun, says the southern leaders and the elders and the politicians are responsible for Chief Sunday Igboho's OSHA predicament. There's nothing to discuss with the Fulani government. All we wanted is our freedom and Yoruba nation. It is not negotiable. Can't love you less. Koiki, thank you very much. Our mother, Ebun, for watching us. Let's read more of your comments from those of you that are watching us on all the platforms. This segment comes every Wednesday. Rafia, our mother as well, says, I do agree to that statement that the government and the politicians sponsor terrorism. So what you're saying is you agree with what Gate, and those of you that might be asking, what is the meaning of Gate? It's called Global Advocate for Terrorism and Eradication. They petition the American government against the Nigerian government because they believe that Nigerian government is actually growing another terrorist operation in Nigeria using the sovereignty of the country and hiding under that. The letter chronicles, I'm going back to reading a little bit more from that. The letter chronicles numerous terrorist activities that establish the compatibility of the Nigerian government and its officials. Some of those acts include providing funds to terrorist organizations. And that might probably quickly remind us of one man is now late. I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. It's known as Dr. Malafia Obadia. This is what he has to say when he was asked during one of the interviews, then before he died. May so rest in peace. Based on what I'm reading now from this Gate known as the Global Advocate for Terrorism and Eradication, I've petitioned the office of the United States Secretary. He's going to be in Nigeria tomorrow. Anthony Blink will be in Nigeria for a 2-day visit. But a Global Advocate for Terrorism and Eradication has already petitioned his office. And the reason for that petition is they believe that the Nigerian government and its officials, some of those acts include providing funds to terrorists and terrorist organizations, providing material. Let's hear what the late Dr. Malafia has to tell us.
Some of us also have our own intelligence networks. Okay. Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics.
Did you hear that? Moving ammunition, moving logistics. Let's hear a little bit more. Moving money. So does that mean that now that we know this, prior to this new petition by this organization known as Global Advocates for Terrorism Eradication. They don't want any terrorists operating in any part of the world. But it seems the Nigerian government have become where the breeding ground for terrorists. Do you agree with Gabe? Good evening to you, Latifa Mumini. Good evening to you. Welcome to the program. Do you agree with this? Because already the late Dr. Malafia Obadia told us, and now we have another organization saying the same thing, and what they said is the numerous terrorist activities that have now operated in Nigeria. And as I speak to you today, let me just give you some of the roundup of some of the terrorist activities. Alhaji Lai Mohammed has told the Nigerian media to call them bandits rather than terrorists. But I can tell you that they are terrorists. They are not bandits. A bandit doesn't have access to a weapon. Let me quickly tell you some of the crime the terrorists have operated today. Terrorists killed 14 persons in Sambo Biri local government of Sokoto State. This was today, some 4 hours ago. Also, according to report, the people that were killed in Ondo State, 3 of them, 2 bodies have been recovered. This is in the southwest of Ondo State. For those of you that might be saying, why should we have our own independent nation? According to the security operatives, have now recovered the dead body of 2 out of the 3 people that were kidnapped in Ala Town, Akure, the North local government area of Ondo State. I'm sure those of you from Ala Town in Nigeria or outside Nigeria will know where I'm discussing. According to intelligence gathered, that the 4 people that were butchered had received a call from one of the kidnappers to come and buy cow. You better stop eating cow. Those of you that are still eating cow back home. These individuals were told to come and to come and buy cow. They were adopted, ambushed, then they were shot periodically before kidnapping 3 of them. Now 2 bodies have been found. Ondo police spokesman, Mrs. Fumilayo Odunlami, that does not have any power because the power that she would have had is not inside the 1999 constitution. So if you are thinking that you have a commissioner for police in the southwest, in the southeast, in the middle belt, you are literally denying yourself of a crime that will be committed and the police will not be there. The police lied during the inquiry that they were not at the Lekki toll gate. And we now know that it's all lies. So I only pity Nigerians that are still believing that 2023 is the best option for us on Starr Radio UK. It's called Niger Voices, where we say it as it is. Let's go back to what the late Dr. Malafia is 1946. Remember to follow us on our social media handle on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. All the handles are very, very easy for you to find. It is just called Starr Radio UK. So for those of you that have got Twitter, you might want to go on our Twitter handle, and I want to see how many of you will retweet with me tonight. I'm going to retweet myself, which I've just done. So I am the number 1. Take a bit of time now. Go on there and do a retweet because we want this message to get to the United States of America. We want it to get to the Great Britain for the crime that was committed. They were sitting in November 23rd last year. We want them now to petition the Nigerian government from traveling to UK, and if missed to ban them finally from coming here, we want them to do so. So I want you now to go on Twitter and look for Starr Radio UK. It is STARR Radio UK, and I'm going to be monitoring that to know how many people have helped to retweet. You can see that more people are interested to the retweet of the video. About 331,000 people have retweeted about the video that is making the money. I'm sure some of you have been following that. He's the one making the money, but Nigerians are retweeting, but we are discussing here the crime committed, and we haven't got anybody to retweet. You can see the mindset of Nigerians. And 3 people are watching us live on our Twitter. I say thank you very much. So if you really want the crime to be solved, you need to go and retweet. But rather, about 331,000 people prefer to retweet about the video for him asking about 1 million naira from some of his friends, and he's been making the money. I think the last count is about almost coming up to 80 million. That doesn't mean you will be getting out of that money. That doesn't mean that you will be getting out of his wealth. That doesn't mean that he will be part of those that the Nigerian army or the Nigerian police will shut at because he has his own security. That doesn't mean that some of you that are in Nigeria would have access to what Davido have because Davido can be in any part of the globe. I think he's currently in Dubai. But we are right now, thank you very much, we had a second retweet. We're now sitting here discussing the crime that was committed by the Nigerian government and nobody's retweeting. And then we're asking for freedom. More people are looking at other areas when we are discussing the issue affecting Nigerians now on this platform, on this station, on Star Radio UK, so that justice can be served to those that released the gunshot. All the military that was involved must now be petitioned to the International Criminal Court, but we are not getting the retweet. But more people are retweeting about the money being donated to Davido. He owns the money, not you. Do you know why he's asking for the money? Because Davido wants to get his Rolls Royce that has been shipped into Nigeria so that he can continue to drive it on the road. And these are the mindset. And when we talk about it, people say, oh. And this is why we are sitting every day to say, Nigeria is no longer working. This is my own view, not the view of Star Radio UK, that Nigeria must be disintegrated for us to move forward. Nigeria must come down with a referendum, just as Great Britain had the referendum to exit peacefully out of the European Union without any war. The British were given the opportunity to determine their fate, whether they want to be part of the country called European Union. And that is why we are saying that we put out the link already for those of you that are watching us. Click on that link, go there and retweet if you have a Twitter account. And if you haven't got one, you need to go and register for one and follow us on Star Radio UK. That is the only platform that you can get the message out there, just as, this gate that have given us a very good startup to say exactly what the late Dr. Malafi Obadia has to say. He was killed. He said to us that during the lockdown of COVID-19, they were moving with the private jet as if nothing was happening. But right now, more Nigerians are more inside Davido's tweet. They are more interested in that. With over 333,000 people that have tweeted. But doesn't mean that none of them will get the money from it. Let's go back to Dr. Malafia.
And distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south.
They were distributing all the weapons, all the money in different parts of the southwest, in the middle belt, and even Governor Autumn. Let me tell you what he said before we start winding it down this evening. Once again, thank you very much to my producer. The Governor Autumn, Governor of Benue State, this is what he has to say. More people have been killed in Benue State. The killings is never ending. The killing continue as we speak to you right now. Farmers can't go to the farm anymore. Armed men reportedly invade, open fire on mourners and killed scores in Benue State. This is about 4 days ago. Unknown gunmen. These are not unknown gunmen. They are terrorists operating. But the Nigerian media call them the unknown gunmen. The Nigerian media call them, all kind of different names. Because the federal government have warned all the media houses in Nigeria not to use the word terrorist on them. So I say terrorists have reportedly attacked Mabayato Mabati Council ward of local government area of Benue State. This was about 4 days ago. It was during a wake-up killing as unspecified numbers of mourners, people that were already mourning, they were being killed more. According to our mother, Rafia, what the British that married us together is still waiting for to grant us freedom before they kill all of us. The killing continues in the southeast. There is genocide happening in the southeast and the world is keeping quiet. Are you also going to keep quiet? If you don't want to keep quiet, that is the reason why we must get the message across different parts of the globe. We must speak to them to let them know that we are being terrorized on the ground in Nigeria as the indigenous people. Good evening, Ruth. Good evening, our mother, Liz Dada. Welcome to the program. We're just about 7 minutes before the end of tonight's program. As we continue to talk about the crime, we started with the review of the NSAS. We talked about Chief Sunday IGBOHO, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Omoyele Sowore. We talked about the 2 dead bodies that was taken away from Chief Sunday IGBOHO's house. And as we speak right now, those bodies have not been returned. We are demanding that those bodies be returned back to the family for a proper burial. We review what Dr. Malafia told us before he was killed. Let's hear the final part of it.
In the rainforest itself, they're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
By 2022, which is just about some few months, and those of you that are preparing for your Christmas, remember that millions of Nigerians are living in fear. So as you are preparing your loved ones, your family from different parts of the globe for the Christmas that is coming up, let us remember that those at home might not be able to spend the Christmas. You know why? Because there's insecurity in the land. And those that are asking, demanding, and fighting for that insecurity are now being held. I'm talking about Chief Sunday IGBOHO and also Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Omoyele Sowore and millions of Nigerians like DJ Switch that had to now run out of Nigeria for a life. DJ Switch literally ran away from Nigeria because her life has now been threatened by the Nigerian government for speaking out the truth. So, as we are winding it down, before I hand over back to the studio, I would like to appreciate every single one of you. But let me just finally say, other allegations according to Gates against the Nigerian government are the prosecutorial protection to terrorists. So they are protecting the terrorists by directly engaging in the act of terrorism and extrajudicial killing using the security agency. Gates in the petition accused the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari that a lot of people are now saying he might be dead. According to a video that is circulating, I'm sure some of you have seen that video, where someone here in UK came out. I'm going to try and play that video next week when we come back on air. We're trying to track down that in the video and see whether we can bring him on Niger Voices on Starr Radio UK to speak to us. That contact has been made already. We'll give more details when we have it. Good evening to you, Olushola Adeshokwe. We're just on the final before we hand over back to the studio. Everybody that have watched that video is now asking that question mark. Is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria dead? That is a question mark. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been talking about it for years. But someone in UK said another video that is already in the public domain that he is aware that the President of Nigeria died here in London and there's a cover-up. Should we untangle that cover-up? We'll see how we can find this individual to come and speak to us. So we're just about 3 minutes before we hand over back to the studio. So according to Gate, the group stated that the US government designated Nigerian officials as sponsor of terrorism will have far-reaching legal implications, including potentially arrest and criminal prosecution in a federal U.S. court if they visit America. So if the president visits America or the vice president or any of the cabinet, they might be arrested. Is the American government going to do that? We'll have to wait and see. The killing is not stopped. It's a good article for you to go and read. It is worth reading. My question now is, let's go back before we quickly go back and hand over. Tackles the federal government on IGBOHO and Kano. Besides, the group said the Department of State Service, DSS, which is the secret police of the Nigerian government, raided the house and killed two domestic staff of a Yoruba Nation activist, Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popular known as Sunday Igboho. The activist Chief Igboho was protesting the insane killing by the herdsmen in Yoruba land. It also accused the federal government of conspiring with Kenya officials to carry out the kidnap, torture, extraordinary rendition, and continued detention of the leader of the IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, who was waged in an effective resistance against the jihadists. Those that are fighting the jihadists are the one now being held, one in Benin Republic, one in Nigeria, or two in Nigeria, Omoyele Sowore and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Is there a cover-up to the death of President Muhammadu Buhari? I don't know. We have to find out. In every rumor, there must be a truth. And be rest assured, the truth will be told on this program. It's called Naija Voices. We will do everything possibly best to find out that individual and see if we can bring him on the live program so that we can hear more and interrogate him. What he knows. He might know something that we don't know. He said in that video that President Muhammadu Buhari died here in London and the British government is putting a cover-up to that. Could that be true? Could there be a cover-up somewhere? On that note, I say thank you very much to everyone that have joined tonight. Thank you very much, Api Rashid. I say have a very good evening. My name is Olayomi Koiki. I'll be back again same time next week for everything you need to know on Naija Voices. Make sure you stay away from traveling late in Nigeria because the death trap on the road are waiting to kidnap and collect ransom to the tune of equivalent of almost £3,000. And I'm sure you know what that means. If you're in Nigeria, that's about 3.5 million. It's a lot of money. If you get kidnapped, somebody would have to find you if they're able to find you before they kill you. Like 2 people that have been killed in Ala, in Akure, in Ondo State, where 2 innocent lives were killed after they were kidnapped by terrorists in Nigeria. Bye for now. I hand over back now to the studio. While we're waiting for the studio to take over, next week we will discuss more on Itunu. While I'm still waiting for the studio to take over, let's just enjoy this for now.
See rain on the mix. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ ronú àti sọ́kà bó ti pẹ́. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ ronú àti sọ́kà bó ti pẹ́. Àsìkò tẹ̀wá sí tó bá fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ṣe gbọ́. Àsìkò tẹ̀wá sí tó bá fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ṣe gbọ́. Bọ́rọ̀ ọ̀tá bá dìjọ́ ìkúnlẹ̀ ọ̀hún. Àsìkò tí tó débẹ̀ sàgbàdà máa ń ẹgbẹ́ra wa. Lọ́pọ̀ àwọn amúnisìn o.
We'll be back again same time next week, Wednesday, on Starr Radio UK. Make sure you tune in. But tomorrow, join me at 11 o'clock with my other colleagues, Frank and Archie, during the morning show.
Ìbá ti dàgbà ó já sí pépà òde ńlá. Àwọn Yorùbá ṣe ń gbọ́ mi àbí kì í dákẹ́jẹ́. Máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ àbáfẹ́ àbí ohun àlùkò. Àwọn Yorùbá ṣe ń gbọ́ mi àbí kì í dákẹ́jẹ́. Máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ àbáfẹ́ àbí ohun àlùkò. Ìrọ̀lẹ́ náà wà lóhùn bá àfi ìyá jẹ́ wá. Ọmọ òpè tí mo fẹ́ fún orin tó gbádùn dà báyé. Ìṣọ̀kan òfúnmọ́ làwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ti lóore. Àwọn òkun ìwẹ́wọ́ ẹ̀jẹ̀ káwọn ìjà ìjẹ́wọ́. ọ̀dàlẹ̀ yìí ti ń pọ̀ jù ó yá ìdíyẹn jáwọ́ ọ̀dàlẹ̀ òde ládùúgbò kò fi wọ́n tó ti ìwọlé ẹni bá dàlẹ̀ yóò kú pàtàkàlà yẹn máa ń sojú tó fi wọn kó dà kókò òwe ẹnu ọmọ yòókù bá ti ń pọ̀ nǹkan rere pẹ̀tẹ̀pẹ̀tẹ̀ tí mo bá lọ ní pàpà ẹ̀ tó bá bá bóyá ìyá kó lọ sí ìṣù torí pé ọ̀rọ̀ ṣì ń bọ̀ ó lọ́jọ́ ìwádìí ọmọ Yorùbá ṣe ń dálẹ̀ akíkílẹ̀ síwájú máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ àbábẹ́rẹ́.
Thank you very much and have a very good evening. Bye for now.